Diddly do, my diddlers and diddlettes. I hope your day is going well, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of Dramatic Diddles. Now, I am very excited today because turns out there is a sequel to Creamy Rose. Oh boy! This one is called Creamy Fox, so I can only assume that Tails is going to be getting involved in one way, shape, or form. So, I don't want to wait any longer. Let's go ahead and get this reading started. Creamy Fox by Black Viper. I don't get it, Amy. He just didn't seem to like it. The 6-year-old rabbit was back at the lake talking to Amy. I even pushed the dildo inside of his tail hole. Like you did to me. But he said that it hurt. I thought that was the best part. Amy giggled a little as she listened to Cream's problems. Maybe I should have explained a little better, the young pink hedgehog said. Why don't I show you what to do when you're with a man? Cream smiled her usual cute smile. Sounds like fun, she said eagerly. The first thing you should know is most men don't like things in their tail holes, she said again with a little giggle. You see, what you do with a man, they feel good with their penis, Amy said. Cream just stared at her blankly. Finally, she asked, What's a penis? Amy, now blushing, looked at Cream. Well, a penis is, She really didn't know how to explain it. Oh man, there has to be a better way to do this, she thought to herself. Okay, this isn't going to work, Cream. The rabbit's filled with sadness. Aw, come on, Amy. Please. Amy thought about it for a few seconds. Okay, Amy said. But this needs to be handled delicately, she said. Come on, Tails, move faster, Cream said as she ran through the forest. All right, geez. What's your hurry? Tails said, falling behind. What's up here anyway? Cream stopped, faced Tails, and gave him a little kiss on the cheek. Something amazing, she said, as the fox just looked at her, puzzled. Cream continued towards her destination, Tails following her as if in a trance. Cream continued running until she finally reached the lake. Yay, we're here, she yelled out excitedly. Tails slowly followed behind, looking around the giant lake. It was a beautiful area, isolated from the rest of the world by a wall of trees. Green grass surrounded a giant circular lake that shimmered from the morning sun. Wow, this place is huge, Tails said as he drank in its beauty. But what are we doing here? Are we gonna have a picnic? Cream turned to Tails. Nope, she said with a smile. Then why are we? The fox was cut off when he felt a hand on his shoulder. She's here to learn, a female voice said. Tails almost jumped. He immediately turned around to see Amy. Oh, Amy, you startled. That is when he realized. Amy was naked! The fox scanned the naked hedgehog, her absolutely stunning body covered in pink hair, except her breast, stomach, and pussy. Amy giggled as she saw the fox examining her. I see you're curious too, she giggled as Tails blushed. Tails turned to Cream and said, Cream, what is go? But he was once again sidetracked when he saw Cream pulling her shirt over her head, revealing that she had nothing on under it. Cream, what are you doing? The orange fox said in a panic. He's yellow-orange. She's learning, Amy said, now right next to Tails. Cream approached the stunned fox slowly. She grabbed his face with both hands and kissed Tails deeply. As her tongue started probing his mouth, Tails made moans of protest, but they quickly died out as he started enjoying the experience. Tails closed his eyes as he started wrestling tongues with Cream. In Tails' mind, there was nothing else in existence. Just him and Cream. Sadly, just as quickly as it had began, it ended. Cream broke away, and Fox was back to his confused state of mind. What is going on? He said shyly. Well, Amy replied, I promised Cream that I would teach her about sex. And from the looks of it, she giggled, you could learn a thing or two about it too. You guys are really freaking me out, Tails said, slowly backing away from Amy. Oh, come on, Tails. Play with us. It is really fun, Cream said, slowly moving her face back to the fox's, not stopping until right next to his ear. Please! She whispered sexily into Tails' ear. The fox started blushing again and replied, Oh, okay, as if under a spell. Yay! The bunny jumped up, happily, almost completely changing personalities. But what do I do? Tails asked. You get the best job, Amy said slyly, moving towards Tails from behind. Tails turned to Amy, only to get pushed to the ground. Upon hitting the ground, the fox let out a moan. Ow, what was that? But the fox was cut off by the pink hedgehog kissing him. The hedgehog kissed him slowly, deeply, and passionately. While they were kissing, Amy lay down on top of the young fox and started stroking his face softly. Tails started to feel strange. He had never felt like this before. His whole body felt ticklish, but it felt good. Amy could sense the fox was starting to get aroused. She pulled her mouth out. Okay, Cream, she said. Look between his legs. Then you can see what a boy's penis looks like. Cream scanned between Tails' legs as Amy went back to kissing the fox. Suddenly, Cream noticed something starting to pop out beneath the fox's fur. It looked kind of small. It was thin and pink. Cream was curious. She pushed down on it slightly, wondering if this was a penis. As soon as she pressed down, she heard a moan of pleasure break through Amy's kiss, and suddenly, the object started to grow bigger. Amy, still heavily making out with Tails, heard Cream say, Amy, I think I found it. But which one is the penis? Alright, I know I normally don't break from these things. I'm sorry. But why the fuck do we have to deal with this trope of Tails having two penises? Just because he has two tails doesn't mean he's going to have two dicks. Alright, I'm sorry for ruining your fapping. I'm gonna get back to reading the story. Amy was a little puzzled. She broke away from Tails again, who started panting, wanting more. Amy turned around and said, What do you mean? Oh my gosh. She couldn't believe what she saw. Tails actually had two penises. Tails, how do you have two penises? Amy asked, confused. The fox, still panting, said what anyone would say in this situation. Doesn't everyone? Amy was stunned. This was amazing. It was like double the pleasure. She would have never guessed. One was on top, the other was just below, both equal in size, about 7 inches. Amy almost drooled at the sight. So many possibilities, she thought to herself. Okay, Cream, Amy smiled slightly. The rules just changed. I want you to do exactly what I do to Tails' other penis, understood? Cream nodded happily. Uh-huh. Tails, still on the ground, was kind of nervous now. What are they going to do to me? He thought to himself. Amy lay down on the fox, facing top penis. She licked her lips and slowly moved towards it. She licked it from the base all the way to the tip, causing the fox to shudder and moan with pleasure. Cream followed Amy's lead. She lied down in front of the bottom penis, and did the same thing. No, Cream, this isn't right, the fox protested. Shh, Amy replied. It's okay. You will love this. Yeah, Cream said. Amy's a genius at this stuff. Trust her, Cream said with a smile. I don't know. Before the fox could protest anymore, Amy opened her mouth and started sucking on his top penis. Ah! Tails couldn't believe it. It felt so good. Cream immediately did the same as Amy. She started bobbing her head. Tails was arcing his back, mouth wide open. He was in pure ecstasy. He never imagined anything could feel like this. Amy and Cream continued to suck on both of Tails' penises. Cream was really starting to get the hang of it. She started twirling her tongue on the tip of the penis. It tasted like nothing she had ever tasted before. It even had an intoxicating aroma. Cream was loving every second of it. Amy, however, wanted more. She pulled her mouth out and said, Tails, lick my pussy. Tails snapped out of his trance, but he didn't know what Amy meant. Amy grew impatient and shoved her pussy right in his face. Tails' protests were muffled, but then the scent of Amy's pussy caught his nose. He became aroused by the intoxicating aroma and almost instinctively started prodding his tongue into her. Oh! Amy groaned in pleasure as Tails swirled his tongue around inside of her. She quickly went back to sucking on Tails' top penis. As Cream heard Amy's moans of pleasure, she felt left out. Tails was her boyfriend. Why did she get to have all the fun? Cream stopped sucking and pulled away. She was going to start complaining to Amy, but then Tails said, Oh, Cream, please don't stop. It feels so good. That is when she realized, even though Amy was helping, Tails only really cared about Cream. Cream smiled and started sucking again, harder than before. She really wanted to please him. Tails could feel something building up inside him. With every passing second, he felt a pressure growing in his tummy. It kept pushing harder and harder and harder. Suddenly, he felt something. I'm gonna pee, he yelled out loudly, worried about peeing in the girls' mouths. The girls knew better, however, and both prepared to suck down all the juices the fox had to offer. Cum started spewing everywhere inside their mouths. Amy pulled out and started coughing. It was too much cum for her to take. The cum from the top penis spurted all over Cream, who was still swallowing Tails' cum. Amy got off of Tails and looked at Cream. Wow, she's sucking like a pro, she thought to herself. Cream held on until finally, Tails stopped coming. Cream swallowed the last of his cum, savoring the flavor. She got up and kneeled down next to the fox's face. Tails was exhausted and slowly catching his breath. His first orgasm took a lot out of him. Finally, he gained the strength to say, I'm sorry, Cream. I couldn't hold it in. Cream just smiled her usual cute smile and kissed him on the mouth. I loved every second of it, she whispered sexually in his ear. Amy put her hand on Cream's shoulder. I think you're ready for the real fun, she said. Amy led Cream over to the still hard penises and positioned her pussy and tail hole just above them. Okay, Amy said. Slowly slide into them. Cream slowly started to sit down as Amy told her. She shivered when she felt the tip of the one press against her pussy. It was big, bigger than the dildo. She slowly pushed it in, until finally she felt the tip inside her. Oh, both Cream and Tails moaned in pleasure. Cream continued and slowly slid down Tails' top penis until her tail hole touched the bottom penis. "Oh, Amy, this doesn't feel right," Cream said. Amy kneeled down over Tails' body, facing Cream at eye level. "It's alright. You'll be begging for more in a second." Amy then helped ease her down a little more onto Tails' lower penis. Cream whimpered as the lower penis started penetrating her tail hole. Amy started to suck on Cream's little nipples, increasing her pleasure. She also put her dripping wet pussy back in Tails' face, and he started sucking on it. Cream pushed Amy's head into her nipples as she continued to slowly go down further and further on both penises. With every inch, Cream's pleasure grew greater and greater. It felt so much better than when she did it with Amy. Finally, she had reached the base of the penises. Amy, still sucking on Cream's nipples, grabbed Cream's hips and started lifting her up and bringing her back down in rhythm. Cream quickly picked up on this and started doing it on her own. Tails was in heaven. It all felt so good. He couldn't believe it. Cream also couldn't believe how wonderful it felt. Her small whimpers had become screams of pleasure, and she was loving every second of it. Amy needed more. "Tails, stick your finger in my tail hole," she yelled out. Tails started fingering Amy's tail hole, causing her to scream out in pleasure. Oh, so good," Amy said. Amy grabbed hold of Cream's face and kissed her deeply. As their tongues wrestled with each other, they both felt a rush neither of them had ever felt before. Cream's rhythm grew faster and faster. Amy broke off the kiss with a loud scream of pleasure. None of them knew how much more they could take. Amy was practically burying her pussy in Tails' face, who continued to please with his mouth. Oh! All three of them were at their peak. They couldn't take much more. "I'm coming," they all shouted at the same time. Tails was filling the young rabbit up with his cum. Both in her pussy and tail hole. Cream felt a great warmth inside her as the inside of her body was getting covered with warm, sticky cum. Amy splattered her juices all over Tails' face. Cream's went all over his body. Amy panted a little and caught her breath. She then got off the fox and watched the young couple. Cream felt her tiny stomach expanding with all the cum. She screamed in pleasure. It was all too much for her to take. Cream passed out on top of Tails. Tails also passed out from the pleasure. The image of them lying on each other was a sight for Amy's eyes. It was one of the cutest things she had ever seen. Amy walked over to them and gave them both a kiss on the cheek. She then started on her way home with the feeling that she had did something great for them today. About a half an hour later, Tails woke up. The sun had started to set, and the sky had turned an orange that was the same color as his fur. The only thing more beautiful than the sky was the young rabbit lying on top of him. Tails kissed Cream on the forehead, waking the rabbit up. Cream slowly started opening her eyes, her vision still blurry. As soon as she could see Tails' face clearly, she kissed him. Tails and Cream stood up and looked at their reflection in the lake. "I love you, Cream," Tails said. Cream's shimmering eyes lit up with joy, and she kissed him. "I love you too, Tails. Thanks for playing with me," Cream said, smiling as she hugged Tails. The end. Boy, let me tell you something. Whenever I find one of these, it is just a pleasure from start to end. And I always find them in the weirdest ways. Like, I found the first one trying to find a profile picture for my friend's contact info. And then I found this one when I was thinking of starting up this series. So, ain't that something, folks? I wonder if there are any more. I wonder if he branches out from, like, branches out from the Sonic fandom. I wonder, I wonder, I wonder if it branches out to other fandoms like Pokemon, like Creamy Ash Ketchum. That'd be fucking great. Yo, Amy, mind if I take a peek at you? Ash Ketchum said as he started beating his meat furiously. Or the creamy African slave trade. Oh god. Oh god. Silly hedgehog. What is a god to a non-believer? Tabo said as he bust his African nut inside the big hedgehog. I can't fucking breathe. Okay. Jesus Christ, it's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fucking delirious. Oh god. There's no way to end this video. Fuck it. Diddle out. Lick my pussy.